Welcome back to Kinsey Performance and Tuning, where I specialize in domestics. That's right, we'll tackle this too. Standing in front of a 2016 4 Series Coupe BMW. It is a two-door, very nice car. The customer brought it in, wanted some modifications done to it. Muffler delete, downpipe. What else? Cold air intake from Injen technology. Depending on how deep we are into it, maybe some H&R lowering springs, but we'll see on that. Got a bunch of boxes. Also have a tune from MHD tuning, some spark plugs to support the tune. Got all the boxes opened up here. Let's see what we're looking at. So we have the VR Speed downpipe. It's a 4-inch cat delete downpipe. TIG welded. Got a nice band clamp, includes the seal as well. Looks like pretty good quality. Also from the same company, VR Speed, we've got the muffler delete. Also nice TIG welded flanges. Always concerned with fitment when you go with these things, so I'll let you know on that as we go. I did a VW here, TDI. And I forget the name of the company that I did the same thing for. That was full downpipe back exhaust, and that fit extremely well. I was very happy with that. So, comes with band clamps here for the main connection to the mid pipe, and then also band clamps, hopefully high quality stuff that you can torque down, and then some nice stainless tips as well. Should look good coming out from under the back bumper. Then the cold air intake, it's the wrinkle black finish. Has the seals here to seal out the hot air from the engine compartment, and the little mount for the air filter. That should also help seal out hot engine temperatures and be able to keep those intake air temperatures as low as possible. Dry flow element, which is great. Working at the dealership, we saw numerous problems with the non-dry flow that has the oiled elements messing up the MAF sensors, which this car has a MAF sensor. So good to see that. Also of note, this part number here, SP1128WB, for these vehicles, this is a 3-liter turbo, is carb compliant, if you were wondering, or if you care. So, should be a fun project. It's important whenever you're going to do work, especially in the rust-prone areas of Wisconsin, where I live, to spray everything down that you think you might be taking apart. Give it time to soak. I like PB Blaster. It's good stuff. After lubricating it up, the nut came right off. The clamp actually required some persuasion. I was able to get a channel lock across it and wiggle it back and forth like so, and it popped loose. Just needed some persuasion. What I ended up having to do is take off the right front wheel here to go in through the wheel well to gain access. There is a clamp that you can see up in there. I don't know if I can get some light on it or not. There. That comes off the turbo for that cat, and it's a little bit tough to get to. Honestly, hey, it must be that German engineering. Without this cutout right there, I don't know that you could have gotten the extension on there straight enough to be able to get up in there. So, thanks German engineering. Came off. So after getting the connection to from the cat to the mid pipe off, you work your way back, and here back by the differential, we'll call it, there's two inverted Torx head bolts here that hold this exhaust hanger to the cross member there. And then back here, these looks like T45s. I think they're Torx Plus actually. There's 6 of those. And then one at the back here, one at the back here with this brace. And that will allow this whole exhaust to come down. We may not take it completely down right now. I just want to be able to get it down far enough so that we can get the cat out. I'll have to disconnect the oxygen sensors and whatnot. Before we do that, helpful to have a jack stand as an extra hand to support it. So I ended up leaving the sensors on the old cat and took it out versus trying to get them off up in there. And it did. You were able to wiggle it down around. This was, the mid pipe was able to get out of the way enough, and it would come down out of there with some maneuvering. Getting the new one in, not too bad, goes right in. That V-band clamp up there, getting that on is so tight, quarters. I had one hand through over here on the wheel well, like we talked about earlier, and another hand trying to hold this. Doable, yes. Fun, nope. So that is tight. I did put this up to where it was going to sit to make sure that you've got a good seal on it. Also matching it up to where these bolts were going to go back in. So I knew it was in the right location. Normally I would say leave everything loose, tighten it at the end, but we've got a lot of flex in this and the pipe going back that I went ahead and tightened this. It was kind of a one-time deal when it was close. Did come with a new gasket as well. This is the old one, so I did put that in, which is nice. I'll check back. Pipe is finished, all tightened up. I'll have to go up top. I'm not going to connect the sensors yet because it goes over the rocker cover, and I need to get a special socket to do the plugs. Obviously we got a colder set of plugs to put on there for the tune, so that's going to wait. Moving back here to the back, I got the stock muffler off with the band clamp that was on there, and we're going to put the VR Speed Factory muffler delete pipe on with the tips. Something you can see a lot of, obviously carbon type buildup and stuff. Something you might want to do is take some emery cloth like this, just go around the pipe, pull it back and forth, make sure you have a nice clean surface for that to clamp on there and seal as good as possible. Whenever working on customers' vehicles, I like to treat them like they were my own, so protect them. If you're going to be leaning over the fender, like I will be, grab your wife's good bath towels, which I'm sure she'll appreciate, and use that. Just kidding. Just a couple of things I wanted to update you on. The exhaust went on fairly well. Welds are nice on it. One thing I did have to do, that pipe would not fit over the existing pipe, and so I had to take it to the local shop that I work with at times that does some exhaust, and they were able to expand that. It only needed to go like 1/8 of an inch in diameter to fit over there, and then it did fit fairly well. Another thing, looking from underneath the car with this lower valance, the tips when they went on, it looked like the bends were not going to put it exactly where I wanted to see it, and from underneath it looked more offset in the hole from one side to the other. But actually when you step back and look at it more from above and where you're actually going to see it from, they do fit pretty well in the hole, and they look pretty good. So everything's tightened up. I'm going to go work on the spark plugs. I had to get a thin wall socket, as you know, you BMW guys know that. But I'm a domestic guy, so I didn't know that. So hopefully the socket that I got will fit those spark plugs and I can get them in, and then we'll be looking at doing the cold air intake next. So looking at the Injen cold air intake install here, they do have good directions, pictures and everything. Everything pretty much lines up the way it's supposed to in the car. Couple things of note, when they take out the stock air box, they don't say anything about this snorkel down here. You do want that in there, but I found it helpful to actually take it out. It just slides out of a rubber grommet on the back side, the top side up here, and it does slide out of there. I found it easier to get this exhaust or this engine heat shield in there with that out. So I pulled that out, got it in there, got all the fender bolts lined up, including this one back here, right there. And then I was able to put that snorkel back in there. I would say you definitely do want it in there. It brings cold air in then in front of the radiator, condenser, intercooler, whatever. So that's how you're getting your cold air intake into the box area here that's sealed from the hood, and keep those intake air temperatures low. So other than that, a couple things to clean up, a couple things to put on yet. And then we're going to be done. Oh, hold on. Now we're done. So the thin wall 14 millimeter 12-point socket that I acquired will not go down in the ports to change the spark plugs. So I'll need to get a special tool, a special socket. I've seen some online, so it shouldn't be a big deal, unfortunately. So I'll have to get that. Cold air intake is on. I like the dry flow element, as I said earlier. Everything looks pretty good. Fitment was pretty good. So exhaust is on it. This will be first start. I have not done the tune on it yet. We're just going to do a cold start with you and see how it sounds. Say loud. As it comes down off a high idle, it's much less aggressive. I was able to get a special socket to do the plugs on this 3-liter from Burger Tuning. Burger. It is a extremely thin wall 14 millimeter 12-point socket, and as you can see, it's got a rare earth magnet in the bottom of it to hopefully lock the plugs in and bring them up. So I got the engine cover off, gonna tackle that. I did get the H&R springs on. I didn't record much of that because it's pretty straightforward. It did lower the car. I would say it was, I haven't measured it today. The springs will settle a little bit. Somewhere around 1.75 inches front and back, probably. It's got a nice low stance on it. Front is, it's low. And then he's got that splitter on there, which is great. I think it looks good. The MHD tune is in it. We went with the stage 2, and that's why I'm doing the plugs as well, just to help out with that. I've driven it just a little bit, but stayed out of heavy boost until I get the plugs in. So take it for a drive today and see how it goes. I discovered you can probably get underneath the cowl on these, but I found it easier to pull off the strut tower brace that connects both of the struts together and then goes up to the cowl to these bolts here. Just take that off, and then you're able to get to all these bolts on this piece. Let's call it the engine shield, cowl cover, whatever. And then you can take this right off and get access to especially these back 2 coils. You can see I have the one out. Rotate them once you get the connector off, back and forth, give them a twist, and they'll actually come out a lot easier. thought I would show you a couple things. First thing is when you're removing the connector for the coil, all you have to do is take this tab and rotate it up out of the way. Give it a lift like that. Sorry, the light's not great. Just give it a lift like that and it will push it up and out of the way. And then you can grab the connector itself and pull it out. If there's not other wires in the way, like that one. There. Then it comes all the way up. Make sure it's all the way straight up or it doesn't release completely. And then also, back here, this one's already been out. When you go to put it back in, you can see locating tabs here and here. Sorry, it's dark. And that's where that little triangle of the coil has to line up to. I also like to put a little dielectric grease in the end of it, just for good electrical connection. So when you do, rotate it back and forth and then make sure it's down in those locating tabs on the rocker cover. Also, when you do take them out, once you get the coil out, I like to take some compressed air and a blowgun, just spray down in there with some compressed air to blow out any road grime debris that might have fallen in there when you took it apart or gotten in there. That way when you take the spark plug out, it doesn't fall down into the cylinder and the piston eats it. This is the part number of the spark plug that MHD Tuning recommended to go with the Stage 2 tune. Once you get them down in there, take them out by hand. Don't use power tools. Can you? Sure. Can you wreck something? Sure. Don't do it. Put them in by hand as well. Spin them down. Torque them with a good quality torque wrench. 17 foot-pounds. When you're all finished, engine cover goes back on. There's a sound deadening piece of material that's underneath, which I forgot to show you. This back cowl area. There's also I think it's a wire that maybe goes to the U-back. I don't know. That's GM terms. Underhood bust electrical center somewhere in here, comes across here and goes through little retainers on this weather stripping. So make sure that goes back in there too. The wipers do have to come off. I forgot to mention that. Wiper blade, not just the blades, the arms and everything. 16mm socket will take them off. Wiggle them up and make sure you get them out. They're splined, so what I like to do is mark them. Just run like a crayon or something along here. Mark the windshield where the wiper arms are, because you can get them in a different spot and you'll have over travel, under travel, something like that. So make sure you get them in the same spot. Clean it off when you're done. Otherwise, everything's good on this thing. Gonna take it for a drive. Just filled it up with a fresh tank of 91 premium, no ethanol. Getting on the on-ramp here.